Did you hear about the man who quietly slipped away in his sleep last night? He was 71 years old. No warning signs, no tragic illness. He had spent the evening chatting with his daughter on the phone, laughing over old memories. He kissed his wife goodnight and crawled into bed like he had done thousands of times before. But that morning he never woke up. His family was shattered. There were no alarms, no cries for help, just silence. And the question no one could answer: why? How could someone who seemed so stable, so full of life, simply vanish during the quiet hours of the night? What happened to him is not as rare as many believe. And the most troubling part, it might have been preventable. As we age, especially past 70, our nighttime habits, those seemingly innocent routines we've built over decades, begin to carry heavier consequences. What used to be harmless quirks or comforting patterns can now silently chip away at our health, putting us at risk for everything from heart failure and strokes to unexpected death during sleep. The scariest thing is, most people don't even realize it's happening. Tonight you might lie down thinking everything is fine, but is your body ready for restful sleep, or are you unknowingly setting the stage for internal chaos? That's what we're here to uncover. I want to share with you the real truth. 4 nighttime habits that could be secretly damaging your health if you're over 70. They might sound simple at first, but each one has the power to tip the balance between wellness and tragedy. Let's begin with the one so many of us cling to: the late night meal. Maybe it's a cultural tradition, or maybe it's just comfort. A warm plate of food before bed can feel like a small pleasure after a long day. But if you're in your 70s or beyond, this habit can quietly betray you. The human body is a marvel, but it changes with age. Your digestive system, which once tackled a steak dinner at 10 p.m. with ease, now needs more time and care. Metabolism slows. Gastric emptying is delayed. What used to be simple now becomes work. Picture this. You finish dinner at 9:30 p.m. By 10:15, you're in bed. But instead of easing into sleep, your body is on duty, breaking down proteins, churning fats, managing acids. Your heart rate stays elevated, your stomach produces more acid than it should, and your blood vessels quietly tighten in response to the physiological stress. What happens next? For some, it's just discomfort. For others, it's a dangerous domino effect. Acid creeps upward into the esophagus, burning, gnawing, sometimes unnoticed. That reflux not only ruins your sleep, it can damage your throat, irritate your lungs, and increase your chances of nighttime coughing or even choking. In more severe cases, chronic reflux in older adults contributes to a deadly risk: aspiration pneumonia, where stomach contents accidentally make their way into the lungs. But there's more. Eating late causes spikes in blood sugar, even in people who aren't diabetic. These swings trigger insulin responses and make the heart work overtime. And for those already managing hypertension or cardiovascular disease, which is most seniors, this stress on the system can be catastrophic. One small habit, one well-loved routine, and yet the consequences can be immense. The solution isn't to skip dinner. It's to respect the rhythm your body now needs. Try to finish your last full meal at least 3 to 4 hours before bed. This gives your system enough time to settle. If hunger still lingers, choose a gentle option, perhaps a few almonds, a banana, or a calming chamomile tea. These don't shock the system, they soothe it. Let's move to the next habit, one that often masquerades as healthy: hydration. We've been taught for years, drink more water. And yes, hydration is vital. But if you're over 70 and still chugging a tall glass of water right before bed, your body might be trying to tell you something you're ignoring. Your kidneys, bladder, and even your brain respond differently to fluids at this stage in life. Nighttime urination, what doctors call nocturia, affects more than 70% of people over 70. Waking up once or twice might not seem like a big deal, but for many it's 3 or 4 times or more. Each wake-up call is a disruption, not just to sleep, but to your heart, your brain, your balance. Imagine rising in the dark, your blood pressure still low from hours of rest. You swing your legs over the bed, stand up quickly, and suddenly feel dizzy. That drop in blood pressure, it's called orthostatic hypotension. For younger folks, it's just a passing moment. But for seniors, it's a major fall risk. A simple trip to the bathroom becomes a high-stakes event. One misstep, one slipped foot on the tile floor, and you could be looking at a hip fracture, or worse. It's not fear-mongering. It's the hard truth that emergency rooms see every single night. But even if you avoid falls, the frequent awakenings have another cost. Every time you turn on the light, sit up, and walk down the hall, your brain is interrupted. It struggles to re-enter deep sleep afterward. Melatonin production halts. Your internal clock begins to confuse night and day. Over time, this affects cognition. Seniors with chronic sleep fragmentation are at much higher risk for memory loss, mood changes, and even dementia. So what can you do? Start early. Drink the bulk of your fluids in the morning and early afternoon. Gradually taper off as the day progresses. After dinner, sip rather than gulp. If you're thirsty, your body is still speaking, but listen with caution and be mindful of hidden sources of fluids. Water-rich fruits, brothy soups, even some medications add to your evening intake without you realizing. Caffeine and alcohol, both are diuretics, making you urinate more, not less. If you're sipping tea at 9 p.m., make sure it's herbal and non-caffeinated. Adjusting this one habit can grant you deeper, uninterrupted sleep and possibly save you from a fall you never saw coming. Now let's talk about the temperature in your bedroom. It seems minor, almost silly perhaps. Who thinks twice about setting the thermostat or grabbing an extra blanket? But if you're over 70, the temperature where you sleep plays a critical role in heart health and even mortality. As you age, your body's internal thermostat becomes less efficient. You don't regulate heat the way you used to. Sweating becomes harder. Your circulation isn't as sharp. If your room is too warm, your body has to fight all night to stay cool. And that fight takes energy. It also takes a toll. When you overheat in your sleep, your heart rate increases. Your blood vessels expand in an attempt to cool the body, and your cardiovascular system works harder to maintain balance. If you already have heart issues, this strain can be dangerous. Add dehydration to the mix, and you're now looking at thicker blood, slower flow, and an elevated risk of clots. These aren't just theories. Studies show that seniors who sleep in overly warm rooms have higher incidence of heart rhythm issues and poorer sleep quality overall. But beyond the science, there's the experience. You toss and turn. You wake up sweaty. Your sheets feel uncomfortable. Your body is restless even if your mind is tired. That's not quality rest. It's a struggle disguised as sleep. Now picture a cooler room, around 65 degrees Fahrenheit, light cotton sheets, a quiet fan circulating fresh air. Your body begins to settle, your core temperature lowers, and now deep sleep becomes possible, where the brain restores memory, the immune system strengthens, and cells repair themselves. This shift isn't about being uncomfortable, it's about being aligned with your biology, and it's one of the simplest, most overlooked changes you can make. Try setting your thermostat lower, opening a window if it's safe, or using breathable bedding. Avoid heavy blankets made of synthetic materials. Opt for layers you can remove if needed, and choose pajamas that wick moisture away from your skin. The difference in how you feel the next morning could be profound. And that brings us to one final pattern. One habit so many seniors repeat every single night without ever questioning it. Yet it has the power to steal your breath, disrupt your heart, and even stop you from waking up the next morning. A night that can change everything. It's late. The clock ticks past midnight. Outside, the world has fallen into a hush, only interrupted by the rustling of leaves or the distant hum of a car speeding through the darkness. Inside the house, all seems still. A warm lamp glows faintly in the hallway, casting long shadows on the floor. A man in his 70s, maybe early 80s, walks slowly down the corridor to get a glass of water. His steps are careful, measured, but in that moment so many invisible forces converge, and danger looms in ways most never anticipate. This is the silent battlefield where too many seniors lose ground, not with illness, not with age itself, but with the choices made after the sun goes down. You see, night has a way of magnifying our vulnerabilities. It strips us of distractions. It invites us to relax, to let our guard down. But for older adults, this period of supposed rest can become the most dangerous time of the day, because nighttime is when our worst habits often come alive. Let's be honest. How many people over 70 find themselves staying up late watching television? The blue light from the screen attacking their melatonin levels. Or waking up at 2 or 3 a.m., reaching for a snack full of sugar, thinking it will help them sleep again. How many take medications without double-checking dosage in dim light, or decide to walk to the bathroom without turning on a light, trying not to disturb their partner or waste electricity? It's these small decisions that build into something much bigger. These habits, seemingly harmless in isolation, accumulate over time like dust in the corners of the house. Slowly, invisibly, they steal vitality, balance, and clarity. Until one day something breaks. A hip, a routine, a confidence. And often it's all because of a decision made in the darkness. Let's talk about one of the most critical issues: sleep. It's underestimated, misunderstood, and often mistreated. Seniors frequently suffer from fragmented sleep, insomnia, or conditions like sleep apnea. But instead of addressing the root causes, many turn to sleeping pills, medications that might induce drowsiness, but come with a heavy toll, increased risk of confusion, falls, even memory loss. Some mix medications unknowingly, combining substances that slow the heart or disturb the nervous system. One pill to calm the nerves, one pill to sleep, another to ease digestion, and soon the night becomes a chemical minefield. Then there's hydration, or the lack of it. The fear of nighttime urination often leads to reduced water intake in the evening, but this results in dehydration, which in turn leads to dizziness, headaches, and increased risk of falls. And the body, already aging and more fragile, struggles to compensate. And what about temperature? Older adults often feel cold more easily. Many go to bed in overheated rooms or under thick blankets, disrupting the body's ability to regulate its temperature. Others ignore the chill, thinking themselves resilient, and wake up stiff, congested, or worse, hypothermic. But the greatest danger? Isolation. Loneliness at night is a hidden epidemic. When the noise of the day fades and everyone else seems to be sleeping, many seniors are left alone with their thoughts. Anxiety creeps in, regrets whisper from the corners of memory, and without someone to talk to, the mind begins to spiral. The night can become a theater of fears, and sometimes a single thought repeated in darkness is enough to spark a cascade of sadness, confusion, or even depression. It's not just physical habits that make nights dangerous, it's also emotional habits, the stories we tell ourselves when no one is watching. I'm too old to change. It's too late to fix this. What's the point anymore? These internal dialogues, especially when reinforced nightly, begin to rewire the brain. They become self-fulfilling. But here's the truth, the powerful truth that needs to be heard. It's never too late to rewrite your nights, to reclaim them, to turn them from a time of decline into a time of healing and renewal. Yes, the body is changing. The bones are thinner, the muscles less firm. The mind sometimes hesitates. But that doesn't mean surrender. It means awareness. It means preparation. It means adapting with wisdom, not fear. Imagine a different night, a structured, intentional, protective routine. Imagine turning off all screens an hour before bed and lighting a candle instead, or listening to calming music, drinking a glass of warm, magnesium-rich tea, doing gentle stretches for 10 minutes, setting a dim light in the bathroom to avoid fumbling in the dark, writing a few thoughts in a journal to release the day's emotions, calling a friend or family member before bed, even for just 5 minutes to feel connected. These aren't major changes, but they are revolutionary because they say, I care about my future. I respect my body. I choose to live fully, not just during the day, but in the way I rest, the way I recover, the way I prepare for tomorrow. It is in the quiet of the night that we either strengthen or weaken the next day. And by transforming our nights, we regain control over the aging process. Not completely, nothing can stop time, but we can slow its grip. We can soften its impact. We can walk more confidently through the years. And if you're reading this, perhaps you're someone who still feels strong, but notices the little signs. Or maybe you're worried about a loved one, an aging parent, a friend who lives alone, someone whose nights are filled with flickering TV light and silence. Share this with them. Talk about it. Make a plan. Don't wait for the fall, the hospital visit, the diagnosis. Reclaiming the night isn't just about avoiding danger. It's about choosing life, choosing clarity, choosing joy, even in the twilight years. There's beauty in a life that winds down gracefully, in a heart that still dreams after 70, in a body that still moves with care, in a soul that knows each night is sacred, not wasted. The next time you lie down to sleep, remember this. The way you treat the hours of darkness shapes the quality of the light you'll find in the morning. So tonight, make one change. Just one, and see how it echoes, how it ripples, how it starts a chain reaction of wellness. And if this message moved you, if it woke something inside you, then join us. Subscribe to our channel.